The spring real estate market has come and gone. We're often running into summer, but let's take a second to look back at some of the indicators that are affecting buyer traffic in the spring market.
I keep it real, I keep it real, I keep it real, just keep it real.
Hey guys, it's Sam Hartman, keeping it real estate as always. I'm here to help bring some context and clarity to the real estate market so that you can be an informed consumer and make strong, confident decisions when it comes to your real estate needs. So today what we're talking about is we're looking back over the spring market and talking about some of the things that are affecting the overall buyer sentiment, buyer demand that is happening in the spring and rolling right into the summer market here. And so one of the ways that we measure and track buyer demand is through showing traffic. And so the ShowingTime system actually monitors and gives an index to the showing traffic that is happening in the market at any given time. And so here is some graphical data that shows the precipitous fall of showing traffic and showing demand from March of last year through the end of the year. March was very strong, interest rates were still pretty low, but as we went along in the year, interest rates began to rise higher and higher, and that buyer demand started to wane. It started to feel a little bit heavy on the shoulders of buyers that not only have prices risen, but now interest rates have risen, and their affordability was affected. But here's the good news. Starting the year out here this spring, buyers are back at it. I think what's happened is that buyers took a little bit of time to get comfortable with the fact that this is what it is. Things are the way that they are, and I can't do anything to change what is happening with interest rates. So more buyers are coming back to the market, even though interest rates haven't changed overly that much. We're still bouncing between 6% and 7% on any given week or month throughout this year. But buyers have gotten used to that, and now they're pursuing affordability at those price points and at those mortgage rate points. So buyers are just pursuing the homes that fit their financial needs based off of today's interest rate, which I think is the best advice I could give to buyers today. Don't stop your housing search, just be hyper focused on the numbers that work for you, that make your housing affordable for you. And so even though we've seen some waning showing traffic happening, if we look at 2023's showing index as compared to previous years, there is still more buyer demand, there is still more buyer traffic than the previous markets leading up to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that tells me that even those years were strong years for home sellers. So that tells me that even though rates are higher right now, that there is still really strong buyer demand. And a lot of times people say, oh, buyers must not be doing anything. It must be really tough right now in the real estate market. No, buyers are out there. They are shopping for the right home. But what buyers are doing is they are being way more picky and way more specific about the homes that they're willing to write strong offers for. So if you're a home seller, you need to spend the time, energy, and yes, money it takes to get your home ready for this buyer demand. You can't just slap a sign in the yard, you can't just hire any realtor to get the job done, because it does take preparation to take advantage of this buyer demand that we have. And if you miss your couple of week window when you first hit the market, you might have missed those buyers for good. And so real estate is always hyper local. So here's a look at what's happening based off the West, Midwest, Northeast, and South regions. And the Midwest is actually tracking with some of the highest demand in the US right now. So that is hugely optimistic for us. Affordable markets are still going strong. There's a lot of buyer demand in the affordable markets because affordability is more challenging for buyers. So a market like Fort Wayne, Indiana, that continues to be ranked one of the most affordable markets in the US, stands to benefit from that. So what is driving this buyer demand and this buyer interest? If interest rates are so high and people have the perception that the market has slowed down so much, why are buyers still buying homes? Because almost every buyer I meet with asks me, is it a good time to buy a home? And they're probably asking me that because mom and dad or Uncle Joe or cousin Sally saw a news article or heard a headline and said, you're crazy to be shopping for a home right now. But there are a lot of market dynamics that are pushing the market forward and a lot of demographic dynamics that are keeping the market strong. So let's look at some of those. First and foremost, employment remains extremely strong. Even though government policy and the Fed monetary policy is trying to slow the economy down, they're trying to worsen the employment market, they're trying to worsen wages so that they can get control of inflation, the job market is remaining extremely strong. In March of this year, 165,000 jobs were added to the economy. And in April, that number was 253,000 jobs. So you can see, even though government's trying to pull back on the economy, slow that growth in employment, the employment sector is moving forward. People are hiring, people are scaling up, people are hiring more employees and trying to get production to the point where they can meet buyer demand out there. And so because of this job growth, one of the interesting market dynamics we've seen is that employment is at 50-year all-time lows. Employment is below 4% is what we consider full employment in the United States. And we're actually at 3.4% employment in the US, which is extremely strong. So not only are people being employed, but we're also seeing that growth in wages. From 2010 to 2023, the average growth in wages year over year was about 3%. But in April of 2023, we actually saw 4.4% growth in wages. And what that correlates to is actually an average hourly wage of $33 per hour. So not only are more people employed, but people are making more money, and that is driving buyer demand to the market. And so what does this mean for you? What can we summarize and take away from this information? Well, for one, rising wages are supporting buyers in a time where affordability is being affected. Even though interest rates are rising, wages are rising and helping home buyers still make good affordable decisions when it comes to their housing. And then with the job market still growing, demand for homes is staying strong, much more so than was expected in this spring market. A lot of experts expected the job market possibly even to be in a recession at this point in the year, but a strong job market has really kept people feeling optimistic about their prospects. Because one of the things I always tell buyers is your job stable? If it's not stable, if you don't feel comfortable and secure in your job, you probably shouldn't consider buying a home right now. But if you are stable in your job, your income is stable and growing, you should look into what the affordability options might be for you and what type of home might fit your needs within those parameters. And lastly, new listings are lagging behind, so the inventory of homes available for sale remains very tight. And that has been one of the market dynamics that has really been bringing out the buyer demand, and still in many market segments been keeping the demand so high that it's still a competitive market where buyers are sometimes writing competing offers for the house that they want. So I hope this information was helpful for you reviewing the spring home buyer market trends and what is leading to that buyer demand going into this summer market. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss my next video. And if you know any home buyers or home sellers that could benefit from this information, make sure you share this video with them. I want to make sure that I'm getting them the context and clarity that they need to be an empowered and informed consumer. Thanks again for staying with me, guys. It's Sam Hartman, as always, keeping it real estate.